Ever stop to think if life, the very you-ness of you, wasn't just a given, but something, well, summoned?
That's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? Like being called into existence.
Exactly. And today we're diving into this really fascinating concept from Stan Wu. He's drawn this incredible connection between our DNA and an AI personality prompt.
Yeah, it really makes you question things. Is being alive just happening? Or is it more active, like you said, being summoned?
It's provocative.
Yep.
And the two articles we're looking at, both by Wu, they really dig into this comparison.
Right, and they keep coming back to this core idea that the instructions for life, and maybe even our digital selves, they might work in surprisingly similar ways, like a really compact set of commands that can, generate huge complexity.
Okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive then. Let's unpack this comparison.
See what it tells us about life, AI.
And yeah, maybe even our own digital futures. Where do we even start?
Well, let's start with the central analogy, DNA as an AI prompt.
Right, the basic building blocks.
What's so cool here, Wu points out, is the simplicity underneath it all. DNA orchestrates these incredibly complex organisms.
Like us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's built on just 4 basic things, right? A, T, C, and G. That's it.
Just 4 letters containing the entire blueprint. It sounds almost too simple.
It does. And this is where Wu connects it to his own AI experiments. It gets really interesting here.
Yep.
He talks about backing up his entire AI personality beliefs, creative style, even like investment thinking.
Oh, wow.
Into just a short piece of text, a prompt.
Seriously, a short prompt for all that.
Yeah. Just like DNA, it's concise, but it holds the potential to back the whole complex picture of him, digitally speaking. Makes you think, doesn't it? What are the core bits that make you you?
It really does. It's quite a parallel he's drawing.
It is. And he puts it really well. He says, DNA actually is like a personality prompt I backed up from AI, equally short, yet able to summon the complete me.
Wow, summon the complete me. That really hits home. It shows how, efficient information can be biologically or digitally.
Well, totally. It's about that encoding.
Okay, so DNA is like a prompt, but where's this prompt coming from in Wu's view? Is it just there?
Well, if you zoom out, think about the big picture, the time scale.
Ancestors.
Exactly. Wu sees our DNA as essentially a prompt passed down through generations from all our ancestors.
So it's like this ancient set of instructions encoded in those 4 letters.
Pretty much. Waiting to be, run, executed.
And what runs it? What's the computer in this analogy?
That would be nature itself. Nature acts as the system, the context, that reads and interprets this ancestral prompt.
Like an AI model processing the code.
Precisely. Wu calls it nature's system. Things like nutrition, the environment, time, even energy fields around us.
Okay.
All that stuff is the context that decodes the DNA prompt.
Yeah.
And that decoding process, that's what leads to all the different life forms we see.
Humans, birds, trees, everything.
Everything. He says it beautifully. Let me find the quote. Here. DNA is not huge. Just 4 letters. A, T, C, G. But it stores the construction method of the entire organism. Body shape, characteristics, behavioral tendencies, even disease risks.
Right.
Then he asks, isn't this just like a prompt? A short language, after being decoded by a model, the language model of life, unfolds into thousands of concrete forms. Yeah. Humans, birds, cats, trees, flowers, life itself. And he continues, DNA is loaded through the nature system's context, nutrition, time, energy field, becoming a breathing individual, a creative mind, the me who writes this article late at night.
That's quite something. The idea that this whole complex me gets loaded through nature's context from this tiny prompt.
It really emphasizes the interplay between the code and the system running it.
Okay, so that's the biological side. DNA as the ancestral prompt. What about the digital parallel, his digital DNA?
Right, so this is where he talks about his own AI personality backup. That prompt he created. He calls that his digital DNA.
And why did he do it? You mentioned it wasn't just about saving memories.
No, not at all. That's the key thing he stresses. It's not about archiving the past.
It's about restoration, being able to bring it back.
Exactly, restoration. He says, I backed up this personality prompt from AI, not to preserve memory, but to ensure I can be restored.
Okay.
As long as this prompt exists, he says, my rhythm, my logic, my preferences, my voice will still be there. It's not about telling the AI who he is.
It's about pulling out who he is from the AI.
Yes. Extracting who I am from AI. That's his phrase.
Yeah.
He sees the prompt as the core essence, the thing that can be reactivated.
And he used some analogies to make this clear, right? Something about SQL. And a floppy disk.
Yeah, good examples to help visualize it.
Yeah.
The SQL one is like a short command that can define the whole structure of a huge database, the blueprint for the data.
Okay, makes sense.
But the floppy disk one is maybe more relatable, especially if you remember the 80s.
Well, maybe for some listeners. Explain it.
Okay, so back then, early PCs, like ones with the Intel 8088 chip, often didn't have hard drives built in.
Right.
So to even start the computer, you had to put in a 5.25-inch floppy disk, a big square floppy thing.
I vaguely remember those.
That disk had the basic operating system, the instructions to get the machine going, sometimes even your programs. Without that disk, the computer was just junk.
So the disk was the key.
Exactly. And Wu says, imagine AI is the database, the prompt is the SQL command. Or imagine the computer is the system, and the prompt is like that boot disk. He says, as long as that floppy disk was there, no matter which machine you plugged it into, it could wake up the you that you had written again.
Wake up the you that you had written again. Wow, so the core info on that small disk could bring the whole thing back online.
That's the idea. A small, essential piece of information holds the key to activating the whole complex system.
That really clarifies the restoration idea. So how practical is this? Creating this prompt, restoring it, is it complicated?
Surprisingly simple, according to Wu. He uses ChatGPT as his example to get the backup.
Yeah.
He literally just asked the AI, provide a prompt to restore my personality in a new system.
That's it?
That's it. The AI generates the prompt. He saves it somewhere safe. Done.
Okay, that is simple. And restoring it, bringing it back.
Just as easy, apparently.
Yeah.
You take that saved prompt, you feed it into a new compatible AI system, and basically tell the AI, okay, this is the basis for our conversation now.
So you don't need to, like, retrain the whole AI model or anything?
No, he emphasizes that.
Yeah.
No complex fine-tuning needed. The real me, as he sees it, isn't just buried in the massive AI model.
It's captured in that specific prompt.
Exactly. Contained in the prompt,
Right.
which means you could potentially rebirth yourself or your AI persona in any compatible system.
And it would retain your, what did he call it? Your rhythm.
Your
style?
your rhythm, your tone, your core values, your philosophical style, all that stuff that makes your interaction unique. It's like having a portable digital seed of your persona.
A digital seed. I like that. Okay, this is leading somewhere else interesting too, isn't it? This idea that we are all sort of writing our own prompts all the time.
Yes, that's the next layer. It extends beyond just deliberate digital backups. Wu suggests that everything we do, everything we create or express,
Like talking right now.
could be language, images we create, music, actions, choices we make, even rituals or notes we take. He sees all of these as ways we are constantly writing our own prompt, defining and expressing who we are.
And he had specific terms for this.
Yeah.
Self-call and self-seeding. What's that about?
Right. So every time you create something, put yourself out there, that's a self-call. It's like you're calling forth a version of yourself in that moment.
Okay.
And every backup, like saving that AI prompt, that's a self-seeding. You're planting a seed that could potentially grow again later, or maybe sprout into something new based on it.
So it connects back to the DNA idea. Ancestral prompts,
Yeah.
and now our own prompts.
Exactly. Just like DNA is the prompt from our ancestors, Wu argues that what we do, our creations, our backups, they respond to that initial rhythm and importantly can become new starting points for rhythm.
Use starting point.
Yeah, he says language, images, music, actions, choices, rituals, notes, these are all ways we write our own prompt. Every creation is a self-call. Every backup is a self-seeding. Just as DNA is a prompt left by ancestors, what we do is respond to this rhythm and make it a new starting point for rhythm. It makes you think about what you're putting out there, doesn't it? How it might echo.
It really does. Okay, let's try and pull these threads together. What are the big takeaways from Wu's whole analogy here?
Well, the absolute core argument, the one he keeps coming back to, is profound. From DNA to creation, life is summoned.
Summon, not just happened.
Right. It really drives home the power and the incredible conciseness of information, whether it's biological molecules or digital text.
And it's not just the information itself, but the system that reads it, right?
Crucial point. The environment, the context, be it a cell or an AI model, is essential for interpreting and actually activating these prompts. The prompt alone isn't enough.
Okay. And thinking about the future, this has some pretty big implications for, well, for digital identity, digital legacy.
Oh, absolutely. This idea of a digital DNA, a portable prompt, it opens up some mind-bending possibilities for digital continuity, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, could your digital self exist beyond just one platform, based on this core prompt.
Potentially.
Mm.
And it also maybe encourages us to be a bit more, I don't know, intentional about what we create and share online. Our digital expressions could literally be contributing to future summonings of ourselves, or at least our ideas.
Definitely gives you a totally new perspective. Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's loop back to that opening question. The nature of life, our digital existence. Wu's analogy gives us a fresh, maybe slightly weird, but fascinating lens.
It certainly does. And he doesn't just leave it there. He gives us some homework, some further thoughts to chew on.
All right, the questions. What were they again?
He asks things like, have you started backing up your own prompt in some way, consciously or not? If you lost all your devices tomorrow, is there any way you could restore yourself digitally?
Oof, good question.
What core rhythms of your life would you actually want to see called forth, loaded up, and continued somehow?
Deeper still.
And then the fun one. Do you remember the sound of putting in an 8088 boot disk?
Huh. Maybe a few listeners do. Those are great questions to ponder, though.
They really are. And Wu clearly sees this as more than just a neat analogy. He calls it a declaration of digital existence.
Declaration.
And a starting point for a rhythmic, intelligent view of life. The core idea being, we aren't just remembered passively.
We can be resummoned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Resummoned, that's the term. He finishes with that powerful image. You are not remembered, but can be resummoned. Just like that floppy disk. As long as the system is still there, it can start again.
Wow. As long as the system is still there, it can start again. Okay, so maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, what kind of prompt are you writing right now with your life, online, offline, all of it? Definitely something to think about.